round 10 of the 2018 season sees Formula 1 head to Spain for the Circuit de Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix, and we've got a lot of news to cover as we head into this 10th round. First of all, after all the controversy going on with this entire drugs test saga that's been going on for pretty much the entire season now, we're starting to get a lot more developments on the actual case. We're now being told that the security guard that was involved at the drugs test centre during the time of this entire attack was actually held at gunpoint by a bunch of men that came in and stormed the building. Now, this is why he said nothing after the attack. We believe that there was some sort of a threat that has gone around, which basically meant that if you said something, something will happen. But of course now he knows that after all this court case has gone on through and basically it nearly ruined Tom's career, he knew that he had to do something, and he has gone forward and told the police. We're not probably going to get much more information upon this, as this has now gone up to a major serious level, but we'll definitely be keeping updates on what is going on with this matter, and it is quite clear that Tom is trying to look for as much justice as possible served towards these two people. Also, following this, Tom has actually gone and visited the security guard that was held at gunpoint during this attack to go and offer his condolences, make sure that he's okay, and also try and do any way he can just to help him out in life. And he also has invited him here to the Circuit de Catalunya as a VIP member to come and watch the Grand Prix and to basically just have some fun and try and get rid of his horrible past. Toro Rosso have announced that they will quit F1 at the end of the season and are going to sue Red Bull for their actions. Now, as we know, Toro Rosso are currently involved in a massive dilemma with Red Bull. Red Bull stated that Toro Rosso will be going at the end of the season as they will be looking to attempt to sell it. However, Toro Rosso stated they had absolutely no idea that this was going on, and of course now it's caused controversy between the two parties. Toro Rosso stated that they had no idea that Red Bull were looking to sell Toro Rosso come the end of the season. And that obviously meant that all the staff and everyone that works at Toro Rosso were going to lose their jobs. And this is not what was meant to go down, and it's all gone completely crazy. Toro Rosso are going to sue Red Bull for their actions, so we'll have to see how that rounds out. Looking on a more positive note in the Formula 1 world, Porsche are making a return to Formula 1, not making a return to Formula 1 in fact, it is their first time entering Formula 1 in their entire history. They've announced a new partnership deal with Williams for next season. So obviously, as we know, Williams are going to be losing their Martini sponsor as it was only a 1-year extra deal. Also, they have lost their Mercedes power units for this next season. Williams have announced a deal partnership with Porsche, so Porsche will now become a title sponsor for Williams. Also, they're going to be providing Williams with some engines for next season. Of course, we've got a brand new era of Formula 1 with V10 engines coming back next season, so Porsche say that they're going to be using some of their own engines as they've gone into development to have a look at this. We do believe that this is eventually going to change into a full takeover, but for now, Porsche are still going to only be title sponsors and be engine suppliers, and they're not going to run a full team next season, but they are making a return into Formula 1. And the final piece of breaking news that we have coming into this Spanish Grand Prix is that Lewis Hamilton has signed a brand new 2-year contract with Mercedes-Benz. This was inevitably going to come despite the fact that Hamilton's had quite a poor season with Mercedes-Benz due to unreliability. He still finds that there's a lot in his car that he wants to do, and he says that he's just extremely happy with Mercedes and hasn't actually spoken to any other teams apart from Mercedes, and he says he's ecstatic that this 2-year deal is out of the way. Now he can crack on with his racing. Finally then, having a look at some of the standard F1 news then coming into this Grand Prix. First of all, starting off with Audi, and it appears that Audi seems to be struggling a lot with the balance of their car. Audi state that it's just not got enough grip for them. They're struggling with understeer and oversteer, both for Nico Rosberg and for Thomas Fox as well. So both of them struggling with the balance on their car. Ferrari seems to be back on top in practice. They headed out a 1-2 in practice 1 and practice 2. So Ferrari looking strong after their poor performance in Singapore left them way down the order. And it's Mercedes-Benz that are now dropped down the order. They're now lacking the pace here at the Circuit de Catalunya again. And they've pretty much fallen behind Red Bull in the practice standings. Mercedes state that the car just isn't quite working at the moment here in the Circuit de Catalunya, and they'll do everything they can to try and salvage anything from this Grand Prix. But that's all for the F1 news. It is time to get on with the Spanish Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on, guys? It is FoxyDude98 here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the F1 journey for you guys today here on the channel. Today we're here for the 10th round of the 2018 season, and we're here at the Spanish Grand Prix. And yeah, we're here on our first qualifying lap. But before we get into today's video, you probably would have noticed the replay cameras during the news feed. Basically, I'll say them out now. The news cameras that were shown for the breaking news feed, or the replay cameras, they were shown from the race. Now, basically, as you guys know, whenever I do the replay cameras, which is basically the broadcasting shots for the news page, what I do is I actually go into a separate Grand Prix, go into a practice session, wait till there's a bunch of cars out on track, and then I would go into the replay camera, go through all the cars, and then just cut them out, and then there's my replay camera's job there and done. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of problems with recording this week on the PC. It's just been a bit weird. I'm not really sure why. Luckily, obviously, everything the F1 journey is fine. However, all the replay cams were just messed up. And I've also been installing new mods to test out the F1 2018 mod that's coming out as well. And basically, just time flew by and I completely forgot about it. So those replay cams were from the race, just in case you get a little bit like, why are they there? They will be changed back for next week. I just basically didn't get time to get proper replay cams like I normally do, so we just stuck with those race replay cams in there. So hopefully you don't mind. They're just an overview, really. It's only just talking about the news. Yeah, but without further ado, we're here in qualifying. As you can see, we set a 120.4, but it's quickly beaten by Lewis Hamilton. But as you can see then, onto our final qualifying run here now, and this was a lot better of a lap, but overall I was really struggling here in Barcelona to really just get the car hooked up. The back end was pretty slidey in a lot of places, and also suffering with a little bit of understeer in some parts. It was a really unbalanced car. I don't think I got my setup all too good, but we come across the line now, and we're going to qualify in 6th place here for the Spanish Grand Prix, which I was honestly very, very happy about. I knew there was a lot of time left to get in this session, and managed to get it all out. And as you can see, we only qualified 0.4 of a second behind Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel with an all Ferrari front row lockout. Honestly, I actually felt like I overperformed in qualifying. I definitely wasn't really 0.4 shy like per lap. It didn't really feel like it. Yeah, we'll just have to see how we get along. Unfortunately, this is going to be a race where Ferrari are looking to dominate. But having a look at the race strategy then, we're going to be going from a set of soft tyres to 2 sets of medium tyres. And this was the setup I was running. It wasn't really a good setup, if I'm honest. I may have needed to do a bit more changes. But without further ado then, we're on the grid here. We've got 5 red lights here for the Spanish Grand Prix, and it's lights out. We go here to start the Spanish Grand Prix as we get basically a very, very jumpy start there as we head in towards the first corner now. We're going to dive it down the inside here. No, we actually stay away from it because it's gone 3 wide in towards the first corner, but that's compromised Ricciardo's line there. We're going to go around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo and fly up into 5th place now in this Spanish Grand Prix. Good start from us there, capitalising on Daniel Ricciardo's mistake, but it's Max Verstappen that leads the way from Sebastian Vettel, Pierre Gasly, and then myself, Hamilton, and then myself and Sergio Perez here, bumping and barging. Actually, not Perez, because Perez got removed from the Force India team. It's actually Esteban Ocon, I believe it is, that's under pressure here from Carlos Sainz, and Sainz manages to fight back there. So good stuff there between the Force India and Carlos Sainz. Sainz been struggling this weekend as well. As long I can't even speak today. I can't do anything right at the moment. It's all gone wrong for me. But yeah, he doesn't seem to be able to get the car hooked up. It's just as like I am struggling as well as we go in towards the hairpin, super close to the rear of Lewis Hamilton's car. We seem to be pretty fired up here on the first lap, and we're looking to try and take the Mercedes as he's obviously struggling to get past Pierre Gasly up front, who seems to be closing up to Sebastian Vettel, but it's the 2 Ferraris running away with this one now. But as we go in towards the chicane here, it's not a bad exit actually. It's a good exit out of that last corner. Verstappen leads the way at the end of the first lap. Vettel following in behind ahead of the Red Bull, but you can see that we're very close to the back of Lewis Hamilton. We're going to chuck the car into rich fuel mixture, and we are going to go for the overtake here. So we're going to move our car towards that inside line. We're actually going to have to swoop it to the outside of turn 1. He's actually given us a tighter line here, but we brake nice and late, swoop round the outside, and that is us up into 4th place here in the Spanish Grand Prix. And as we move on to the next lap now, Lewis Hamilton is under more pressure, and I'm not quite sure, maybe he's got some sort of a problem or something, because Hamilton struggling in this Grand Prix, because look how far back Daniel Ricciardo is in this race. Look at that, and he's absolutely flying here, going right next towards Lewis Hamilton. He's going to go for the outside line just like I did, so he's going to take some inspiration off of my fantastic manoeuvres. And as you can see here, in towards turn 2, they side by side the 2 Mercedes cars here. Hamilton on the inside, Ricciardo swoops around the outside, and you can see there just how slow Hamilton is, and he's been compromised now. And Fernando Alonso very close in the mix there as we come on board. But onto lap 6 of the Grand Prix now, and that was a bit track limity. Somehow I didn't get a warning for that one. I think did I get a no, I didn't get a warning for that. I definitely got a warning somewhere though. But Ricciardo now is on the back of me now here, so I'm starting to struggle in this Grand Prix. I'm dropping off the top 3 now, and here comes Ricciardo for an attack now. We're going to squeeze him towards the inside line, take our swooping outside line in, and Ricciardo stays side by side. We're going to have to give him the room there, and there you can see we're back up into 4th place now in this Grand Prix. Hamilton seems to have pulled away from Fernando Alonso, but still dropping back in this Grand Prix. But as you can see, Verstappen leading the way comfortably, but it's the top 4 as we take a very audacious line into the pits. If that was in real life, we would have got a penalty for that, just like good old Pascal Wehrlein did last year. He got a penalty for that, because I believe he took the pit entry in such a weird way. But Sebastian Vettel comes in as well with me, and honestly, the tyre wear was actually quite good here. I probably could have gone a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, I am looking to try and stay in front of Ricciardo, who actually came in a little bit earlier than me. Yeah, I'm just trying to basically run my own race at the moment. It's got to the stage where I'm not quite quick enough to beat these top 3 guys at the moment. As you can see, Stoffel Van Dorn there comes out in front of us in 5th place here on lap 9 of this Spanish Grand Prix. So he's going to be someone I'm going to have to overtake unless he stays out for a little bit longer. But onto the end of lap 9, I am going to have to make the move. So I make a nice lunging move in towards the chicane here. Just plenty more grip, plenty more power. Back end slides there for a nice snap of oversteer on the exit. Bit of wheel spin there as well for good measure. And we come across the line now to start the 10th lap of the Grand Prix. And like I said, we're just going to go ahead and run our own race now. We need to just crack on and let the laps tickle through, as there is Pierre Gasly, who joins behind Sebastian Vettel, quite close to me actually. I've closed up a little bit on Pierre there, so the undercut has worked ever so slightly. But all the way on to lap 24 of the Grand Prix now. Yeah, it got to a stage really in the Grand Prix, that middle stint, nothing happened, absolutely nothing. Ricciardo was on the soft tyres, he was closing the gap down. That was it really. Ricciardo lost 10 seconds to me in the middle stint. I don't know how, I don't know what he was up to, but I decided to run my own race. Now everyone has made their second stops for another set of medium tyres. However, I've managed to stretch my medium tyres out very, very well, and I can now strap on a set of soft tyres to go to the end of the race. And Ricciardo's on a set of hard tyres, so he's not going to be a trouble for me. And my aim now is I'm going to race Pierre Gasly in this Grand Prix. We've got about 8 or 9 laps, give or take here, and I believe the gap is about 10 seconds on Pierre Gasly. I'm now going to chuck this car into rich mixture. I've been saving fuel the whole middle stint. I held up Verstappen a little bit as well. And now it's time for a charge. Lap 29 of this Grand Prix. Lance Stroll in front of me. The gap is just 2 seconds between myself and Pierre Gasly. And as you can see, we fly past Lance Stroll, who is the car that we need to be lapping. That's Pierre Gasly in front of us. Ricciardo 8.4 back, so we're just in full attack mode right now. I've had a boring middle stint. I want to go and attack someone. I want some action because it's been quite quiet these last 2 races, and as you can see, the gap is 8/10 of a second now between myself and Pierre Gasly here at the end of lap 30 and starting lap 31. We're closing in on Pierre Gasly. We're just not quite there yet though. We just need to find a little bit more time, and we might be able to get him on the next lap here as we now go towards the hairpin now, and we get past Valtteri Bottas, who is a lapped car on the hard tyres, and Gasly under more pressure now as we fling it through this final sector. We should have more grip than Gasly. We have used our tyres up a lot to close this gap down, but hey ho, I want 3rd place. I want this podium. It's going to be good for us in the championship if I can get it a little bit wayward on the first part of the chicane up into rich mixture. I'm giving it everything I've got now. We've got a good run this time on Pierre Gasly, opening up the DRS now as we come across the line. We're just 4/10 back now from Gasly as we come towards this turn 1 corner. We're closing into lean mixture to save a little bit of fuel. We're going to dart it down the insides here, nice and good, nice and fair, beautiful stuff. Up into 3rd place now in the Spanish Grand Prix, and we managed to get past Pierre Gasly there, and we are up into 3rd place in this Spanish Grand Prix. And finally, something to actually do in this Grand Prix, because honestly there wasn't that much to do in this Grand Prix. And on to the last lap of the race now. That was kind of it really, unfortunately for you guys. It was another one of those races. They happen in Formula 1. Max Verstappen, as we get a bit of the back end coming out there, wins the Grand Prix ahead of Sebastian Vettel. But yeah, in the first stint, we kind of just held with the top 4. We were sort of give or take and pace with them. Ricciardo gave me one little threat on lap 6. Then in the middle stint, Ricciardo lost about 10-12 seconds because he made an early stop for soft tyres, and basically he couldn't get past the traffic. Otherwise, he probably would have fought me hard in that middle stint, and that's where I was thinking that's where all the action's going to be. Didn't turn out to be that way, and in the final stint, yeah, we went on to soft tyres then and closed up. So if Ricciardo didn't get held up, we probably would have had a good old fight with him. Having a look at the full classification then, you can see it there on your screens Hamilton and Ricciardo not finishing well, neither did Carlos Sainz. Pascal Wehrlein getting some points for Force India, and Toro and Rosberg getting some points as well. But anyway, guys, let's move into the drivers and constructors standings. Alright, so after the Spanish Grand Prix then, as you can see, here is the Drivers' Championship after the 10th round of the 2018 season. I now still lead the Grand Prix, lead the championship with 198 points in the Audi. Max Verstappen has closed the gap between myself and him down by 10 points. It is now just 20 points in the championship. It's still quite a sizable margin, but we've still got 50 points on offer, so I definitely cannot relax yet at the top of the championship. Carlos Sainz is in third in the Red Bull on 118 points, and Lewis Hamilton is on 103 points. He's actually closing that gap between himself and Sainz. Sebastian Vettel, after a poor run of form, finally gets some good luck his way. He's on 101 points now, and just 2 behind Hamilton. Ricciardo on the 91 points, dropping further back. Pierre Gasly now starting to claw back some points in this championship. Of course, his seat is under threat at the moment with Red Bull after being outperformed by Sainz all season long. Fernando Alonso doing a stunning job for McLaren, pretty much just cemented himself as 8th in the championship ahead of Nico Hulkenberg and Stoffel Vandoorne, with Rosberg now tied on points with Stoffel Vandoorne. Ocon on 17 points, Pascal Wehrlein picking up some points, and he now jumps in front of Sergei Sorokin for the first time in the championship. Stroll, Hartley, Carey, Kubica, Bottas and Leclerc still yet to get points. Moving on then into the Constructors' Championship, and it is pretty much all done and dusted in terms of who's going to be winning it. Ferrari are on 281 points now, ahead of Audi on 218 points. To be honest, Ferrari are not champions yet, obviously, because if Audi get a 1-2 in the last 2 races, which is highly unlikely, then obviously if Ferrari don't score points, then Audi can still clinch it. But Ferrari literally just need to score a couple of points in the next round, and they'll be crowned Constructors' Champions. Audi still in second, 18 points clear of Red Bull, so they've still got a fight on their hands to beat Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes still in there as well on 194 points, can't count them out just yet. McLaren and Renault have pretty much cemented themselves as 5th place. I've said this many times now, with 65 points. Renault on 26 points. Force India closing that gap slightly to Renault, so there's still a little bit of a fight there for 6th in the championship. Williams in 7th, Toro Rosso in 8th, and BMW Sauber in 10th. And I've clearly done my maths wrong because I've miscounted a team. But guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, hopefully you have, feel free to drop it a like. If you're new around as well, feel free to subscribe for some more Formula 1 content here on the channel. And until then, guys, I will see you next week for the next part of the F1 journey. Take care all, guys. Peace.